Hey, Kris, how you doing?
Good. How you doing, John?
I'm doing great. Hope everybody out there is doing good.
Yes. Surviving after the storm.
Surviving after we had some big wins.
Yes, we did.
In East Texas. Now, see, I went to college in Oklahoma where there are big wins all the time because that place, doesn't have a single hill. It does.
Sure.
South Oklahoma is not as bad, but it is just ridiculous how high the winds get when you get up there in the, same height as our panhandle, same elevation as our panhandle. And it is pretty intense.
Mm-hmm.
We don't get that here in East Texas because we have hills and trees.
Yes.
But when the big winds do come, that means all of those trees decide they've had about enough.
Yep. Now, if you've listened to the previous show,
yeah,
you weren't in Oklahoma. I was in Oklahoma.
You were in Oklahoma last show. I haven't gone back to Oklahoma in a while because I had enough of it.
Well, I'm talking about what the AI got wrong.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
You didn't go there for college. I went there for college.
AI got that wrong. And
it can't pronounce your last name.
No, but nobody can.
Mr. Red Furring.
It just keeps getting worse and worse.
Yes.
It's fine.
Yes.
I've been called a lot of names. Anyway. Yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah.
Yep.
Yes. No, I'm the one who went to school in Oklahoma.
Yes, you are.
Eesh. Anyway. Hey, I hear we have a gift.
We do have a gift. This comes from our friend Michael Moore.
Thank you, Michael.
Yes, a wonderful mixed beer donation to the show.
Yeah, we're big fans of the mixed beer and 6-packs.
Yes, so there are some fan favorites here.
That's got some different. Yeah,
we've got the breakfast stout. That's a crowd pleaser.
That's a crowd pleaser for sure. I see a Guinness Drought on this side.
We've got a Founder's Dirty B.
Okay.
Actually, I believe there are two of those.
I think, there's another one on this side that's, I think, a Dirty B.
Dirty B?
Dirty B.
This one, I think we got to give him a little grief over. I mean, come on, dude. What are you doing? I know he listens. So for those that you don't know, I have my hand wrapped around a Bud Light. And I'm not even complaining just because of the wokeness.
Man, no, it's a light beer.
I'm like, Michael, I know you listen, dude. Come on. Love you, but come on.
I need you to take stock of the people sitting at this table and then think about the light beer choice. So
then we've got the
Obsidian.
Obsidian. I believe we've had this one before.
We did. Yeah, we had the Obsidian. I don't remember what we thought about the Obsidian. So, I mean, if y'all keep track of that kind of thing, I remember not hating it.
It's not a Russian Imperial Stout.
Oh my god!
So we're good there.
Maybe that was it. Nothing was as bad as the Russian Imperial Stout.
Yeah, we had two of those. And then, yes, as you said, a Guinness Draft.
Stout.
Yeah, it's the stout with a little capsule that will release the nitro once you pop the cap.
You got to pop that cap real fast.
Yes, you do. And then pour. Speaking of, did you bring your cup?
No.
Oh.
I mean, I made it out of my house this morning with my shoes on, which is a victory. Excuse me.
Oh.
I mean, it just looks so good. I should just keep it up here.
Yeah. Stored in one of the cabinets.
No big deal. Oh, we're actually moving this room.
Yes. When is that happening?
Soon, hopefully. I still haven't made the internet work over at the other house, but we're going to be moving our podcast studio to a different building on our campus, and it's going to be great. I'm super excited about this opportunity. If you saw the like we should just include in this the show notes for this just a picture of this room. It is not something I'm excited about packing up.
Moving, well, no fun at all, but having that space is going to be nice.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, unless, it gets relegated to a smaller section of that building than right now I'm thinking it will be. But I think it'll be a nice thing. And especially when I get internet over there, it'll be great.
And initially, isn't the studio going to be the only thing there?
Yeah, they are planning on using part of it. We have a staff member who's having to drive in from Dallas a lot, so he stays there on certain nights. I think maybe Wednesday nights or something like that. So that part of it will be where he stays, which will be fine because there's plenty of room for all of that.
Don't crash my studio, bro.
Don't crash my studio, bruh.
Yes.
Bruh, as my kids say, bruh. Like, stop it.
My daughter has actually started saying that lately, going,
really?
Bruh. And I'm like,
no.
What are you doing?
I'm not your bruh.
What? I'm like, why are you saying bruh? Apparently it's going around.
Yeah, I know. It's like a bad virus.
Yes.
I don't know what the deal is. Yeah, so what are you going to drink?
And I remembered.
Yes, you did.
Opener this time.
I think I put the other one in that drawer behind you, just in case. But yes, I'm glad you brought that one.
Part of me wants to be greedy and take that breakfast out.
I think you should. You definitely should. You like them more than I do.
Well,
I'm going to try the Obsidian again.
Okay.
Whoever makes a mistake during the show has to drink the Bud Light.
Okay, let's define mistake.
Whatever we decide is worth punishment. Oh, man.
Hello, friend.
Hello, friend. Hello, my old friend. Yeah, I remember liking
darkness, my old friend.
Deschutes Obsidian Stout. That was a really good.
Oh, that was a good
cranked
one.
it.
Yeah.
The formation of obsidian, named for the iconic lava flows forever crystallized in Central Oregon, Obsidian Stout is as smooth as the black glass it's named after. That was almost bad. Black barley and roasted malts deliver a depth of flavor that promises enjoyable notes of espresso and chocolate. It's a 6.4.
Nice. Okay.
Espresso and chocolate. There you go.
Turn it up.
Yeah, no, that's great.
Okay. All right. Well, Founders Breakfast Out. Coffee lovers, this one's for you. Brewed with an abundance of flaked oats and 2 types of coffee and chocolate. This stout has an intense, fresh, roasted Java nose. Okay. With breakfast-inspired flavors of chocolate and caramelized sugar for just the right amount of sweetness.
I mean, we drink beer.
It's good.
And we talk about what we like about beer and being able to taste different things and blah, 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 or what we taste or why it makes us like it or not like it. But I will tell you, anytime somebody talks about the nose on a beer,
yeah.
I'm not sure we're doing the same thing here.
Yeah, I'm not going to do that. All right.
Hey, cheers.
Oh, hello, friend.
Is it good as you remember?
It's really good.
Well, there you go.
I have no problem recommending this beer to anyone.
Founders Breakfast Stout.
Breakfast Stout. Not the blonde that we had.
No.
Breakfast Stout, spot on. Dirty B is good.
It's all right.
KBS, I like. And there was one more.
I got all of them we did a Scottish Highland Festival here every year. I don't know if we're going to keep doing it, but for after that, for the guys that had really busted it, I bought all of the Founders beers and we cracked them open on the back of a truck. But
it's the porter. That's the one that I couldn't remember. They have a porter that's really good.
Yeah. Anyway, they make really good beer.
Yes.
But they should stay away from blonde.
Yes, they should. Yes, they should. As should everyone.
Well, I mean, I'm not going to say everyone.
I was giving Jacob at work a hard time today because apparently he got the, it's called Garage Beer. It's, the football players, the brothers.
Oh, the Kelseys?
There you go, yes. It's their beer that they have done together. And
that's going to be...
It's very...
Midwestern.
He described it as you can just pound it down and that it was almost like drinking water. That's how light and...
Jason, the older brother, evidently is like really good at chugging.
Okay.
So I can imagine he would...
Make one that goes down easy.
Make one that would go down easy. But never have been a chugger.
I was going to say Mr. Taylor Swift.
Oh, ow.
We don't have any Swifties listening out there. I'm not worried about it.
No, Mr. Taylor. Well, I wouldn't. It's not the Swifties I'm worried about. They're like, yes, that's how he's famous. Ouch.
Ouch. Yes, that's got to hurt.
Whatever. There was somebody who posted one time about a video that the wife was making fun of the husband by basically pretending that she didn't know that Jason or that Travis was a well-known, like a celebrity in his own right before
Taylor.
And so she was like, I mean, isn't it great like what she's doing for his career or whatever? And he was like, what are you talking about? She's like, I mean, everybody's going to know who he is. And blah, blah. He's like, he's won a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Like
a couple.
Well, I don't know. Like this was right when they started. I don't know how many he won at that point. Anyway, it was very funny. Those guys are good podcasters. They're fun to listen to. I feel like it would be hard to not be good at it with the amount of expertise that they're bringing from sports.
Correct.
And the fact that they're like really close brothers. Seems like you'd have some stuff to talk about.
Yeah, I'm sure it was rough to lose that Super Bowl to his brother too.
That one I did not want to, like I watched the one after that, and it like I would not have wanted to be in the same room. Just because it's like that's got to be so hard.
Mm-hmm.
But then I mean, Jason just had to do it in the other direction. He didn't win because he wasn't, but he's part of the Eagles franchise. And anyway,
he got the one. What, 2017, 2018?
Oh, he's won. He just didn't win.
He didn't get to.
He didn't win this last one.
No, because he had to retire, or chose to retire. I guess
chose to retire. I feel like, I mean, that's one of those things, and especially for linemen. My uncle was a linebacker, and he talked about at the end of his life he wished he'd never played a down of football.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway.
All right. Well, thank you again, Michael.
Appreciate you, Michael.
We never turn away free beer.
No, that's not something we do.
We might critique it.
I mean, and there have been some critiques.
Because, I mean, that's our job. We critique beer here.
It is what we're paid for.
Yeah, boy, let me tell you. You don't go into podcasting for money.
Well,
you take a vow of poverty when you go into podcasting.
It sure seems like it.
Yes.
I'm spending a lot of money on things that don't make me any money. That's fine.
But we get to play with wonderful toys.
We do, and we get to talk about things that we really like to talk about.
Yes, we do.
This week, I wanted to talk about a couple different things.
Okay.
That kind of have my attention right now. So let's go back a little bit. In trying to figure out, like, I don't know if a lot of people can relate to this, but like I got my, I went to college and got my degree in Bible, it's a Bachelor of Arts in religion with a Bible emphasis. I think that's the way that's phrased, but I think it's religion. I don't think it's religious studies. Anyway, most people who do that go on to get their seminary degrees, and then they work at churches, or they write, or they become some sort of pastor of some kind. And I got that degree, and then I worked in maintenance at a camp for 5 years.
Yeah.
And then I worked in AV at a camp for another 5 years. And 10 years after that, now I am have been working at a church for 10 years. So there's a moment when you look back in your life and you realize that you've been out of college for 20 years. And it seems like most of your education happened after college.
Yeah, I would agree.
So, whenever I started thinking about if there was something else that I wanted to do, which I'm not actually good at thinking of what I want very often. I don't know if that's weird for other people. I'm finding out about myself that it's not weird for me to not know what I want. And I think that's something that was kind of trained out of me when I was a child, because that's not what you're supposed to spend your time thinking about. You're supposed to spend your time thinking about how you can help, or, I don't know how many people who listen to us grew up in really traditional Christian circles, not necessarily homes, but because my father was a pastor, being at church all the time. I mean, there was a lot of times that I was raised by people in the church that weren't my parents. And so there's a lot of ideas that I have, I think, from my childhood that didn't necessarily even come from mom and dad. So not even throwing shade in anybody's direction, because it's all very convoluted. But I think there's a lot of, when you're trying to teach your children humility, and you're trying to teach your children selflessness, and you're trying to teach your children how to be mindful of other people, and to be compassionate, and how to be, we'll just say Christ-like. There's some of the, you take some of the conviction of that away, and you turn it into discipline. That you are now disciplined into these things, as opposed to being convicted by the Holy Spirit that you should be these things.
Yeah.
Because you're following Jesus. And if none of that makes sense to you, then I'm so sorry. But what it boils down to is that I think for a lot of reasons, it's really comfortable for me just to slide into the mindset of, I'm just going to do what's being needed of me, what I'm being asked for. And what I've really enjoyed is being asked to be on a team, to have somebody see me doing something well and be like, okay, great. Can you do this for us? And that to me feels very natural. The idea of me saying, you know what, I really enjoy doing this, and so I'm going to pursue doing that. Very weird. This podcasting thing, very weird. So all of that means that even the idea of looking at different things that I had gotten a little bit of training in over the years, and saying, like, do I like doing that, was a very strange thing. Because I don't know if everybody has this experience either, but like the idea that you know, in that most of your education coming after college. A lot of it is just like, okay, this is a skill that you got to learn really quick, and you pick it up and you learn how to do that thing. And you may learn some ancillary like how-tos about that or why you do it that way from whoever. Wow, that was loud. Yeah. I don't know if everybody heard that, but that was loud.
Yeah, it was.
But like the idea that you learn a little bit on the outside of the necessary skill that you needed in order to get a job done, like you learn a little bit about that. Yeah. It just makes you dangerous. Like the Dunning-Kruger effect is rampant. And so it's crazy because there are some things that necessarily you will become really good at.
Yes.
I think I was trying to explain to somebody how frustrating it is to meet or to have to train someone who is not a problem solver.
Okay.
Because I think people like us, we have to be problem solvers. Like what you spend the huge majority of your day doing is being a problem solver, is trying to understand what the problem is and then how to address it. Mm-hmm. And then also then finding the like how-tos on each of those steps. And then you get like halfway through solving the problem this way, and then you realize there was a better way to solve it. Like, or you get all the way through solving it this way and you realize that wasn't the problem. And now you got to go figure out what the problem is.
Been there
in this other direction. But there's just a lot of Googling. There's a lot of like, nobody's going to bail you out here. You've got to go figure it out.
Yep.
And so because of all of that, you have this like jack of all trades mindset. You're not really sure where your depth is with some things. And so then you've kind of got to feel out whether or not you're good at this or you've just been able to get by with this. And so one of the things that I was looking at that I have found, whether or not it has any future in terms of a career or anything like that, but I am intrigued by is this idea of virtual and augmented reality. Mm-hmm. It makes sense to me. We live in a pretty small, we live in a pretty small city in East Texas, and it's not, compared to the other cities that are around it, it's huge, but it's also, an hour and 15 minutes away from Dallas. So there's no you can't call it a big city.
No.
But Tyler is really attractive for people to live in for a number of reasons, which I'm not going to go into. But if you don't know about Tyler, it's a great place to live. Partially because it's not a big city.
Correct.
But it does mean that a lot of people that were moving out of California, a lot of people that were moving out of other places and moving into Texas, and immediately they're drawn to like Austin and Dallas and Houston, and are not really drawn to Houston because like they see Houston and they're like, oh, a big city, and then they like find out about Houston, they're like, never mind. But like San Antonio and these different places that have grown incredibly, but then with all the growth that happens in those places, then you have the really smart people that are like, yeah, but I don't know, like that. I don't want to then just be in the big city again. I just want to be closer to it.
Yeah. And
so a lot of people have come to Tyler. Well, Tyler is a little bit behind in quite a few areas, but one of them in real estate, our cost of living is incredibly low for what you get. For all the benefits that you get, it doesn't cost very much to live here. And one of the things that we're behind on inside of real estate is any kind of marketing that doesn't require people to be here. East Texas is one of those communities, large communities in like its actual scope, but or distance. I think East Texas is bigger than quite a few of the northeastern states.
Yeah.
But it's definitely got that mom and pop shop. Like a lot of the, like everybody saw the film about Beaumont that Jack Black, I can't even remember.
Oh, Bernie. Yeah.
Sorry, Bernie, not Beaumont. And the people that are into that movie, like East Texas has some of that, like,
yeah,
we'll call it folksy charm. I always have to fight people though about it, because it's like, that does not mean that people in East Texas are stupid.
Correct.
Because they're not. Whatever you call them, you got some rednecks where you come from too, and
yes.
But that like neighborly, like, I mean, it's just really loud what's going on.
If you heard that was definitely a bathroom.
Yeah. We don't normally have this kind of trouble.
No, we don't.
But that like neighborly, like kind of up in each other's business. We just got to keep going. Kind of up in each other's business, kind of, whatever you call it, shaking hands, waving,
yes,
saying good morning and stuff like that is a very normal thing.
Truman Show.
Very Truman Show, but Southern.
Yes.
Okay, so I'm like dancing around it, but like the point is that because of that, there's a lot of this, like there's a lot of who you know and how you know them and like that type of thing that's not really helpful when it comes to moving into the neighborhood and stuff like that.
Correct.
So something that's become popular, especially in the bigger cities and in a lot of Texas, because of people moving here from out of state and not being able to come tour a home, but they really want to know what they're getting, is this idea that you have a virtual tour of it, that you have not only the plan, but you can actually step into the space and do these 360 tours and things like that. This is also becoming a really big thing for construction companies, which is huge also in Tyler, to be able to have the construction company or the architects even being from somewhere very distant. They design and they want to be involved in how the project is going. Mm-hmm. But because they really don't want to fly here all the time, because the closest big airport is Love, and then DFW, like it's just a thing. So they would have somebody with a 360 cam strapped to their helmet, and they have them walk through the space.
Yeah,
and they either can do this live where you can actually ask questions or have the person look in a certain direction, or because they walk through the entire space with the 360 camera on their head, they can just go back and then look at wherever they need to see whether or not something has happened the way that it's supposed to.
Yeah.
And this is like I don't know if you've heard about the AutoCAD being less and less of a thing, and then people moving to BIM files.
Don't know that.
But it has a lot to do with this type of you can get a BIM file off of a structure that's already been built, and so the inconsistencies with the inconsistencies with even the CAD drawing of what was supposed to be built, like you can see that in a BIM file. You can see the fact that it's not exactly like that. We made this change, or there was this change order, or we had to do it this way because of this or whatever. And so BIM files can then be turned into these. There's a company called Matterport that's real big in this, or I think they're one of the first big ones in that space, and they call them digital twins. So it's like there's a digital twin of the house.
Okay.
And I mean, that's all it is this is a digital version of this real space. And again, like you talk about being able to see with these 360 tours and everything, this house in very real, like not just pictures of it, but like your brain, your eyes are connected to your brain in such a way that you are processing things in 3D.
Yes.
So when you see a 2D rendition of a 3D object, you're making your brain is making a lot of assumptions based on that. And some of it can be altered, and really good, real estate photographers can make rooms look a lot better than they actually are.
Yes, they can.
A lot bigger than they actually are, a lot, I don't know, just nicer in whatever way than they actually are. And so I'm not saying that type of thing wouldn't happen with this, but it is really nice to have the reassurance of feeling like you have already walked through a space with these 360 tours. Now, I realize that I just said this thing about 360, and it's not actually 360. It's not actually 3D, but that's kind of the power of this AR VR world that's up. And I mean, like I've seen, you read Ready Player One.
Yep.
I've seen Ready Player One. One of the first movies that I remember watching that had a reference to VR in it was Hackers. Whenever I can't remember what his...
you didn't see Lawnmower Man?
I did, but I actually didn't see Lawnmower Man until after I had seen Hackers.
Okay.
This is kind of the nature of being too young when some of these movies came out.
Maybe my parents were a little bit looser on some of the movie stuff.
I'm sure they were. Did we not talk about how my dad was a pastor?
Yes.
But anyway, I mean, the only reason I watched Hackers when I was younger was because I watched it at my cousin's house. So,
yeah.
And, then we get a little bit older and, Matrix is a thing, and you can call that VRA or, whatever virtual reality that, I mean, it is what it is.
Yeah.
Even if it's not being connected through a headset.
Yeah.
But these different movies that have like pointed to this being something that should happen in the future.
Yeah.
There's something nostalgic to this about this to me, in that this does feel like one of the technologies that we were promised that's coming to fruition now, that we promised. I realize what I'm saying there, but like that was referenced when we were young, and now is actually happening. We still don't have hoverboards
or flying cars
Back to the Future, but Back to the Future, the second one, had, they had their little headsets on, for part of it, or at least at home or something like that. Anyway.
And then there was the really awesome Augmented Jaws billboard.
The billboard actually being augmented reality.
And was it like Jaws episode like 35 or something like that?
Ridiculous like that.
Yeah.
And then, you have Rocky 7 and Fast and the Furious 12 or whatever. And no, that stuff is real. Like they just keep making these movies as long as they make money off of them. But the idea that this week I bought a Meta Quest 3 and have been messing with it, like it's funny. Like I am immediately when I'm putting this headset on, I'm immediately struck by how I am manipulating something that's not there. But with the pass through, I can see everything around me. I can see when my son comes into the frame. I am able to interact, and it makes it feel like the headset has disappeared, and all I have is like these floating tablets that then you're playing a game or looking something up or listening to music or whatever the thing is that you're doing. What I was surprised most by, though, was how then whenever you like are in pass-through mode and then you take it, or you hit the little button that takes it into complete virtual reality where your world disappears, how shocking that feels. And again, maybe I'm just overblowing this, but like it is, I think, because if you do the augmented reality and you're able to see what's around you with just, little parts being inserted that are not, then whenever you go fully into virtual reality, there, like, it's a little bit, what just happened?
Mm-hmm.
This is so cool. And it's definitely limited. Like there's all kinds of glitchiness when it comes to, and again, I realize this is what I'm talking about is the Meta Quest. And it's the 3, so this is not their first or second delve into this, and, Oculus being part of that.
Yes.
But the idea that it has already improved, and it's still got these like parts of it that feel, because it feels so expansive, because you can be in a different world or a different setting or anything like that. But then as you're walking around the room, you realize, oh nope, can't go that far. Like that's not part of this tour.
The world has ended.
The world has ended. That's very fake. I mean, there's parts of it like that, I mean, even it was funny. I actually was expecting to be disappointed by, moving myself with if you get up and you can walk some, but you're in a room with your couches and end table. And if you walk too much, you're going to hurt yourself.
Yeah. You don't want to be the person in the YouTube video that walks into their TV.
Oh man. I mean, part of it is just loving watching all of the people freak out with these headsets on, and then there's a lot of humor involved with that.
Yes.
But it was really, I thought I was going to be disappointed by using like my controller or my hand to move me and then whatever, but that's actually kind of nice, to be honest with you. I mean, not to be too much of the fatty on the couch, but it's great to not have to move around that much, but to just be able to say no, I want to go check that out. So I'm going to move my point of view over there.
Yeah.
That's not bad. The limitations of it, I think, it seems like we're as limited today as it's ever going to be. And that, who was saying that about, Chad was saying that about AI. I think he was quoting Marquez Brownlee. He was saying that AI is the worst today that it ever will be. Meaning it's not the worst that it ever has been. It's only gonna get better because it keeps learning on itself in that fluid nature of it. I see you juggling in your head the
well, I think this is where
cosmic
some of the
realities of it.
I'm going to be probably your polar opposite here.
Mm-hmm.
I am bearish on virtual reality.
Bearish.
And
not bullish.
Bullish on augmented reality.
Okay.
And I think that what we're currently calling AI is an absolute joke.
Yeah.
It's smoke and mirrors. It is neural networks, as we've discussed. It is fast retrieval of data from a database.
Yes.
And I think I guess I'm just kind of
you don't think they're going to take over?
No.
You don't think they're going to take over and turn us all into the fat guys in the wheelchairs?
No, because we're too stupid to develop such a system.
With the headsets on.
No.
And the
yeah,
I mean, you saw WALL-E, right?
Yeah, we're not going to be the people. Well, we're going to turn into what the people look like in WALL-E if we don't turn around as a society. But yeah, I don't see us developing Skynet.
No.
We just don't have those capabilities.
Yeah, but it is amazing to me how fast it can retrieve data that
Yes.
I'm just impressed by AI. I don't see it as smoke and mirrors. I just see it as not what everybody is afraid of.
Correct. But I guess when I say smoke and mirrors, calling it AI to me, that's a misnomer. This is not AI.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I maybe have a more narrow definition of AI, like we already previously discussed.
Right.
If I train this model on football and suddenly it starts teaching me tennis, okay, how do we get there?
Yeah.
Because I didn't train you on that. How did you figure all this out? Another example that we threw out was Johnny Five.
Johnny Five.
That would be an extreme example of AI. This was just a simple robot, and now he
all
has
it takes
gone
is a
completely
little
off.
static electricity.
Lightning strike.
Well, I'm just saying at the end.
Yes. Well, yes. So yeah, I probably have a purist definition of AI, and that's why I say smoke and mirrors.
Well, because it was like, again, if we go back to movies, like we don't have hoverboards.
No.
We do have one wheels, and that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
And it can feel like a hoverboard because it's got that floatiness to it.
Sure.
And there's a motor in the middle of it that I'm not sticking my foot off this thing and kicking. It is moving by itself. Like this is incredible. Now, if they come out with the one wheel and they call it a hoverboard, like they did with that one thing that we're not going to talk about.
And those had two wheels.
And those had two wheels.
Yes, they did.
And there was nothing hover about them. You were on your butt immediately.
Correct.
No, I'm just kidding. But I was on my butt immediately. I just mean, like, it's like they came out with the one wheel and said, look, it's the hoverboard. And it's like, no, the AI that we've always talked about is the, like, iRobot, like,
yes,
AI.
Yes.
And this is not that.
No.
I see what you mean by smoke and mirrors.
Yes.
In that realm of things.
Yes.
It is incredible how many computations and how fast it can retrieve data from things that I don't want to read.
Sure, absolutely. And you wanted to write you a paper, you're golden. You wanted to throw back research to you on a subject, you get it. If you wanted to literally write you a book or a movie script, lights out.
And some of this large language model does feel like magic because it takes so much brain power for us to do abstract writing.
Yes. The other thing that's just not going to be sustainable, in my opinion, short of them figuring something out, is the power needed to run these data centers that's doing the AI, so-called AI, I'll say. You essentially almost need your own dedicated power plant. And that's why they're looking at bringing online nuclear power plants or just straight up developing their own power plant dedicated only to that data center, just because of how much resources that it needs to consume to do that. So to me, this is where the left and the greenies should be against AI, but they don't seem to care.
No. See, that's the thing, though. Is like, again, we're not gonna go political here, but I would advise everyone to pay attention to some of the deals that are being made that you think like that's not that big of a deal. No, that's a very big deal.
Yeah,
because I think that's gonna matter, and the people who are now in the United States government, or at least are involved in the decision making that's happening right now at a certain executive level, they're going to push for certain things.
Yes,
because they know that it's necessary for the infrastructure of what is about to come.
Yep.
because they're running numbers that the rest of us don't know need to be run. Anyway, there's just things that I think are really important that are happening that we don't like. Everybody's complaining about or talking about in different ways. And you're like, you don't understand. I was explaining this about Elon Musk to a really good friend of mine who does not enjoy a lot of the things that are happening right now. And I'm not saying anybody should or anything like that. But like they were talking in kind of that bubble about the, how he's crazy and blah, blah, blah. And they, he doesn't give he's got billions of dollars and doesn't give any money to or charities or doesn't give as much. I don't know, like something like that I was like, there's number one, no way that you would know what he was giving money to. But like you're comparing him to Bill Gates. Bill Gates has done like the stuff that he's going to do. And now he's got all this money that he's, investing in the ways that he feels like are really important to make the change that he needs to make. Elon Musk has never been shy about saying the kind of crazy that he is, which is, I think we need to go to Mars, and that's going to take all of the resources that we have. And so every single dollar that he accumulates is going to be in the pursuit of this bigger idea. And if he's got that kind of drive, then you can bet when he sees things that are necessary to
get there,
he's going to make harder decisions.
Sure.
Or try to get people to make harder decisions, if we want to be super specific about it.
Yep.
In order to make that stuff happen. Again, love it or hate it, I don't care. I'm just telling you what I'm seeing. And that was very political for this.
It was. And are you proud of me? I didn't get on my Bill Gates soapbox.
You didn't. I said his name and I was like, oh.
I could have gone there.
Could have.
Maybe another show.
Maybe. Or maybe 3 more of these beers.
Well, this is number 2, just for those out there wondering what that was. This is the Founder's Dirty B. Mm-hmm. And I probably should read the blurb.
Sure.
Just because.
Yeah, we read the other ones.
Yes. The beer that puts us on the map. Dark, ruby in color.
Ruby in color?
Dirty B. Trying to make it a kid-friendly show, is complex in finish with rich notes of caramel and dried fruits. Okay, we'll see what I think about that. A malty sweetness paired with a right hook. Oh, watch out, Mike Tyson.
Easy.
Of hot power, give the Scotch-style ale the attitude that its namesake implies.
Mm-hmm. Attitude,
there you go. I do think the power thing, though, going back to that, that is a real threat to the AI data centers. That they've got to figure this out.
Yeah.
Because I mean, as it is now, we already run into scenarios to where they have to ask people not to charge their Tesla cars because there's not enough power in the grid.
Yep.
It's only going to get worse as we bring on more and more of these data centers. So they're going to have to figure this out, or you need a monumental leap in compute to not require as much power.
And again, I think that there's significant investment that needs to happen in these areas they're not being shy about it. Whether or not you're seeing it as that is a different thing, and that's all politically motivated.
Sure.
On whether or not they tell you or they don't. Okay, so just looking... I mean, I got to tell you that one of the things that I love when Apple comes out with a product, love it or hate it. What's up?
That's good.
Well, yeah, but you're saying like better than you remember.
Maybe I've never had this one. I thought I had.
You've had that one. We've talked about it before.
But that flavor is not what I
was expecting.
No.
Is it just because it's right after the breakfast stout?
Maybe.
Second beer
always tastes better.
Oh my goodness, this is amazing.
I mean, that was like, I guess for me, it's the smoothness. Mm-hmm. It was like, there was no bite at all.
Interesting.
That was like smooth.
Very smooth.
All right.
I don't think I remember it that closely, but there you go.
We've been derailed. Let's get back on.
No, it's great. We're not derailed by beer. It's the first one in the show.
True. Very true.
It's not gear and beer, man. It's beer and gear.
Beer and gear. Get our priorities right.
We did think about gear and beer because beer and gear already was a thing. But
yeah. Anyway.
Can't do that. It's not alphabetically correct. So what, love it or hate it, when Apple develops a product and then releases it, it's the first that's ever
it's the best
happened,
thing ever.
and it's the best that it's ever, best one, first one, all of the things.
Beautiful.
I'm
going to cross the streams here a little bit. It's beautiful. It's amazing. The best thing ever.
Huge.
It's really huge. You're going to love it. There's never been anything better.
Never been anything. I mean, it's kind of funny how much these, like, they would hate that.
Yeah.
And also they talk very similar.
Yes. And there are some amazing compilations on YouTube of people who have just cut out those portions of the Apple shows.
Nice.
And it's like 2 to 3 minutes of them just going amazing, beautiful, spectacular, beautiful, amazing.
Just works.
It just works.
I mean, anyway, there's just so much there. But whenever they come out with a product, especially one that is relatively new or implementing a technology inside of an already existing product or anything like that,
yes.
When they do their version of innovation, I'm trying not to just give you all of the fodder here. But it brings a lot of, like, it brings the smoke. Like it brings a lot of the eyes of people that aren't looking at, I think a lot of people had walked by maybe an Oculus Quest in a Best Buy and thought, yeah, that'd be cool, but like, whatever.
Yeah.
Okay, Apple's now making the Vision Pro, and now, like that. There's no way I can buy that, but hey, there's these others that are out there that are affordable.
Sure, and now they were making the Vision.
Yeah, I saw that. I haven't seen them back that up. Like they haven't like released a this is done. But you can get a Vision Pro 256 for $3,500, which seems like it's not what it was.
No.
On the old Apple website.
So it looks like the most recent article about that is it's now claiming Apple is slowing down Vision Pro production.
Right. Because what is unmistakable is that there was not as big of a market for it as they were expecting.
Oh, but you bring that price tag, you've got to know.
I mean, no, they don't. Kris, I use Apple products every day, but the fact that they think a stand for a monitor should cost $1,000.
That is classic Apple.
That wheels for their desktop should cost $500 or $600 or whatever it was. No.
But I look at they just quietly refresh some devices, and you can actually get, although it was just a new color, not so much a new device, whereas the Air iPad is the one that just quietly got bumped to the M3, but the Air laptop is also M3, but it starts at $1,000, and that's with 16 gigs of RAM. That's not 8 gigs of RAM anymore. Now, it is a 256 solid state, which is a little small than I would prefer, but the fact that I can buy that much power for $1,000, they've got to understand, in some degrees, it's like they understand where they need to be price-wise for that, but they just totally missed the boat on the VR headset.
Well, I mean, part of it is they've got this idea, and I would say you can see the same mistake in the what do they call the over the ear?
Oh, the headphones that you have?
AirPods Pro? No, it's Air.
Yeah, it's like AirPods.
AirPods Max.
AirPods Max.
Shouldn't have the word pod in it. Nothing pod about these things. They are big and heavy.
AirPod Max Pro.
Of course.
But it is AirPods Max.
AirPods Max. They made the same mistake with the headset, or with the VR headset, whatever you want to call it, with the Vision Pro, as they did with the AirPods Max, which is they over-engineered this thing. And somebody has their ear saying like, well, it's a wearable, so it needs to be like really, well made. And I don't hear me saying like, I don't want it to be well made. I want it to be well made, but you don't have to make everything out of machined aluminum.
No.
Like, the fact that this, like, they put all of that time and energy into the technology that makes your eyes appear on this glass screen in the front of this thing.
Yeah.
I think it's really cool. But oh my gosh, that person should have been fired. That could have been $1,000 cheaper and way less heavy.
Yeah.
Which is part of the problem. Like, I will say, one of the things that I am loving about the Quest is that I can actually kind of forget about it for a while. Now, even with as light as it is, like, or, as not front heavy as it is, in the way that it sits on my face, I took it off the other day and my son made fun of me because of the like goggle marks around my eyes.
Yeah.
I had been wearing it for probably 45 minutes because I was watching a TV show. I was watching a TV show on mine.
Was it at least a sports show?
No, it was Daredevil.
Oh, the new?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't have Disney, so I'm out of that, but
I have children, so
they're trying to tempt me back.
I'm just saying. There's some of these things are really good. Some of them are terrible.
Because the idea of watching sports, because as it is, my teams are on the other side of the country, so it's not like I can easily go watch them.
No.
So, but to be able to put that on and to feel like you are immersed in the game,
yeah,
that is a little bit intriguing to me.
Yeah.
Not that I'm in the market for a headset.
No.
But it's intriguing that you could literally sit there and have the potential view from courtside watching the game. That's totally intriguing to me, and it feels like you would be immersed in a giant TV.
Yeah.
I love the idea of that.
But that's exactly what it's like, because I'm sitting on my couch and if I do the like, I'm just sitting here watching, and they call it pass through. I think that's actually what everybody calls it.
Yeah.
But so, and I never want to like Kleenex or Xerox these things. I'm not sure exactly when I'm saying something that's proprietary or
sure
whatever speak. But the idea that like when you're doing this pass through mode and you can see everything around you, and the screens can be a certain size, there's still like, you can bring them pretty close to you and they're still very clear and very big.
Yeah.
But then you can go into these virtual places and you can like make that thing wall sized and curved and like to where you are turning your head like you're on the front row of the movie theater.
Yeah.
To watch the whole thing happening. That's really neat. And like angling stuff, like there's just you can really sit on your bed and make this thing pretty awesome.
I think if I was sitting on the bed wearing those, my wife would smack me upside the head.
Well, you just got to do it when your wife's not doing or doing something else. Yeah. I look like an idiot. I know I look like an idiot, but this is happening right now.
So I think I found the set that Garrett has.
Okay.
He has what I believe is the MetaQuest 2.
Okay.
But it doesn't have the pass-through.
No, because it didn't have the
additional cameras and all of that. So
it did have the sensors on the bottom, right?
Yes. And it has the double hand controllers.
Yes.
He absolutely loves it.
Yeah.
And I thought, okay, this is going to be intriguing. I want to do a lightsaber duel.
Mm-hmm.
And it's fun.
Yeah.
But that haptic feedback, no. I would almost rather have him and me with the Mashunga going at it. And that feels more like, oh yeah, this is good. This is good.
Yeah.
And again, it was fun. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah. But you got to take it for what it is.
Yes. Yeah. There's so many limiting factors to it right now.
Yeah.
And maybe in the future it changes and it's amazing. But part of me also really struggles with, I live in the world. Why do I want to live in a virtual world?
Yeah. I think probably I want to live in a virtual world sometimes because my world is really messy. And all of these virtual worlds are very clean.
Yeah.
Very sterile.
Yeah.
And I think, again, like with any technology, you could disappear into it and you can hide and you can do whatever. And I'm so grateful for battery life not being great in that realm. Like it's very nice to have to be like, nope, got to put it down because it's dying.
Yep.
And so I haven't done the like big battery attachment or anything like that.
Yeah, you don't want to turn into one of these. What was that? Was it Second Life? With some of the online stuff. You don't want to be one of those people. You don't want to be one of these World of Warcraft people that you just kind of start playing the game and next thing you know, 6 hours have gone by.
Yeah. But after buying it, then you're looking at all of these different ones that have been made or that are coming out, and you've got the Oculus being one of the first that I remember.
Yes.
At least being consumer wise. But now you've got everything from like the PlayStation has a VR attachment. Now I think on that one, you still have to own the PlayStation.
You do. It has to be.
And it has to connect to it.
Yes.
Which I think is a bummer. Like I had somebody tell me like, oh, I definitely would have gotten the PlayStation one over. And I was like, well, I don't have a PlayStation. So I would have had to buy the PlayStation and it.
Correct.
Not fun.
Well, I want to do a call out to what was my first exposure to VR, although by today's standards, it's not virtual reality, and that is the Nintendo Virtual Boy. Did you have any exposure to that?
Hold on, that sounds really familiar. What is that?
It was the red headset, essentially, on the tripod with the controller.
Man, I wanted one of those so bad.
So my buddy had one.
Okay.
And you got to play around with it. And at the time, you're like, this is amazing.
Yeah.
And then you look at it now and you're like, that was trash.
And it's pretty dweeby there.
And it doesn't even remotely come close to the true definition of virtual reality. But that was absolutely amazing. So for me, it was the Virtual Boy. And then it was the movie Lawnmower Man. And Lawnmower Man just blew me away. Especially with the concept of he could take this guy who was mentally, no polite way of saying it, he was just dumb as a box of rocks.
What?
And he used the VR to help him to become more intelligent. I love the concept. I love the idea of it. I don't know that we'll ever get there.
Wouldn't that be nice? I do like, there's a lot of like, oh, well, you can use this MetaQuest for training and stuff like that. And there was part of me that was like, okay, this is way more entertaining than reading a book. Don't get me wrong.
Yep.
But the idea that I'm going to be training in any kind of functional way.
Correct.
You're vastly over selling how well it reads what my hands are doing.
Yes.
It's like, oh, you can use your hands to like manipulate the windows. I'm like, yeah, sometimes. Yes. For some reason, it looks at my hand sometimes and is like, I don't know what that is. Are you bringing your fingers together? Because I don't know if you are or not. And I'm like, it does it so well. And then all of a sudden, it's like, no, I have no idea.
Yeah.
And it feels like that's all about lighting, which is great.
Yes.
Like, I don't have a problem with that, but like,
lighting is critical for those cameras to function properly.
Yeah.
I mean, Microsoft proved that.
Wow.
I remember that. And I can't think of the name of their little camera system that went onto the Xbox. I can see it's a little bar.
What you're talking about.
But unfortunately, due to the way that the camera functioned, if you had a darker complexion, you couldn't use it.
Nope.
Because it couldn't handle that.
I mean,
so lighting in all these things is absolutely critical.
Talk about just a butt kicker.
Yep.
Like, ouch, that hurt.
Yep.
Okay, but like, I also wanted to mention really briefly as we're wrapping up here, like, this is not just like in my mind, it's not just this. Like, it's the fact that this is one of those technologies that we're starting to see, because of the way that people are being able to do this micro screen.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even know if that's what you want to call it, but like this idea that you don't actually have to have an enormous screen as long as you can put it close enough to the eye where you are immersed in it.
Sure.
I'm obviously talking then about like the augmented reality glasses.
Yes.
And Google Glass,
they tried.
It was a good, like,
bless your heart
yes. moment. But like, yes. I mean, even again with Meta and Ray-Ban, like them trying to figure out like, okay, so if we do it this way, is this good enough? And now there's a whole bunch that just got released or promised to release this year that are actually doing like this tiny projection on the screen or on the lens of glasses that is giving you information like a HUD.
Yep.
Which, who doesn't want a HUD? Like, I played Halo, man.
Yeah.
I want a HUD.
Yeah.
I want the Tony Stark, like, heads up display.
Yes.
In all of my life. I want to be able to be given information immediately.
Yeah. I want augmented reality to win.
Yeah.
Because where I see, I mean, just simple examples that to me, I would love to enjoy is whether I go to a museum
mm-hmm.
or I go to a NASA facility
or
wherever I may be at.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can pay for the tour and I can go with the group and I can listen what the person has to say and get the little bits and pieces that they can get in there amongst all of the interruption. Whereas if I could put on some glasses and either use my earbuds or whatever comes with it, and now I can take my time, I can linger around and it can give me all of this information visually and audibly, and it's drilled in on what I'm looking at, and I only have to look at the pieces that I'm interested in and get all that extra detail and all that extra information. I love that.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely love that.
Was it JBL or Bose that also did the like headphone sunglasses too? I can't remember. One of them.
The ones that rested on the bone? And
no, that's Jawbone.
Okay.
I think that's Jawbone. These were like just glasses, and they had a speaker in the arm of the glasses.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like I think the Meta Ray-Bans just had the, when they first came out, they just had the camera.
Yeah.
I don't think they had a speaker. They may now. Anyway, JBL or Bose, one of the two, and I'm leaning towards Bose, so forgive me if I'm wrong. Again, this is stuff that should have been in the show notes before I started talking. They have these, they made these glasses a few years back that had the speaker in the arm and it's pointed at your ear. And of course, like that makes sense because the arm of your glasses knows where your ear is. Like that's like the entire purpose of what they do, or not the entire purpose, but like one of the essential qualities of what they do is being able to rest on your ears. Go.
Bose and JBL have glasses
of course.
For audio.
Okay. So I think it was Bose first, but it may have been, I don't know.
The Bose, if you remember them, look like the old Oakley Frogskins.
Yeah.
The rectangular glasses. And let me go back to the JBL. JBL has that same look.
Is the Bose called like Tempo or something like that?
Let's see. The JBL is the Sound Gear frames, and the earpieces are not very pretty.
They're earpieces?
Yeah, as far as the ear stems that go back because of all the equipment.
Oh, they're just thick.
Yeah, and they're see-through, so you can see all the stuff.
Oh, I don't need to see those.
And then for Bose, what are you? They are the Bose Frames Tenor.
Tenor.
Oh, that's a very gaudy looking earpiece, as far as whatever you want to call that, the stem that goes back. Starts out already wide, and then it really gets wide.
Yeah. So I mean, it's one of those things that I do think like there's some improvement that can happen with the size of the technology, but actually wearing them and listening to them, I was not disappointed. And I'm like, yeah, well, of course that would need to be a little bit bigger. Yeah. In my line of work, driver size really matters. It matters.
Yes, it does.
So all that to say, driver size and number. Anyway, all that to say, like, there's some really cool, I was impressed with even that, because it didn't seem like when I took them off and held them beside me that I could hear them as well as I expected to. It was about the same volume as, when we used to have the over the ear fluffy headphones, and you could hear what your buddy was listening to, but it wasn't like distracting.
Sure.
Now you would think, from the way that my son talks, that anytime somebody chews, it's distracting. But
if they're smacking, I agree.
I just there's a lot to be desired for you got to let it roll off of you, man. We just have no tolerance for anybody else anymore right now. But all of that to say, again, like that world where you could be wearing sunglasses and listening to your AI, which is feeding you information that you don't have to go research. It's found the pertinent information because it's tracking your eye. It knows what you're looking at, and it can give you information about that thing. Like, that is a really attractive world to me. All I'm saying about the VR is that I was more impressed with it than I thought I was going to be. Not in terms of on the parts of the quest that I've seen, even like it looking lifelike or anything like that's neither here nor there. Like, in my mind, it is what it's like to all of a sudden be surrounded by not where you are, and how it didn't feel like I was looking through a viewfinder to get there.
Yeah.
It really does feel like you are right there. And you're not like tunnel visioning to see it. You're not like it really does take up all of that real estate for you. And because of that, like, you're, it just does something to your brain. Now, what I would love to see inside of that is this, like, there's actually on YouTube, you can go to YouTube inside of the headset and look up 360 videos and 360 like experiences and stuff like that. And I mean, I could do this. You have a 360 cam, which I do, and you put it in the middle of a river in a beautiful scenic location, and you hit record, and then you get out of there and it's just going to record like that 360, and you can stand in the middle of the river and look in any direction that you want and listen to the sound of the river.
Listen to the stream that makes you need to go to the bathroom.
Okay, don't do that, because then if you get stuck and you forget that you're wearing the headset, and then all of a sudden you're
I can just let it go in the stream here.
Peeing on the dog. My dog deserves to be peed on.
Oh.
Anyway, I just think it's really a lot of opportunities coming up, and it's fun to be able to like enjoy technology and not just work on it.
Sure. Sure.
I don't get a lot of time to play video games or anything like that, but getting to buy something that is solely for fun, that's pretty neat. Anyway.
All right.
What's our Jason Court message for the day?
The Jason Court segment. Need to come up with a jingle for this. The Jason Court segment. Okay. So he sent us 555 sats.
Okay.
And he says, for the short circuit reference, we just made another, so he's got to do it again.
Johnny 5.
And to help teach AI to donate to the show. That's what I'm talking about. That would be a great use of AI. Send us money, AI. Come on, man.
Yeah. Learn to send me money.
Yes, send me money. Send me sats.
Killing it.
That'd be amazing. Not going to happen.
One of these days, we're going to be able to buy a beer with these sats, though.
Well, the problem is we'll have to. Well, it depends on the bar.
No, that's what I'm saying.
So that would be intriguing.
I think it's going to happen.
That reminds me of something recent. I'm kind of going off script here.
Yeah.
On my personal favorite podcast,
we had a script on this one.
And we technically never have a script. We have a loose timeline.
You do a great job.
Well, so listening to No Agenda, Adam Curry is talking about way back, probably 2012,
okay,
maybe even 2010, when Satoshis were, or Bitcoin in general, was next to nothing. And he was trying to figure out what is all this dark web.
Yeah.
And he used a handful of Bitcoin that he had. Sorry, children. He bought a dime bag with Bitcoin. And now he's recalling it here in 25, and he's going, what a horrible waste of that Bitcoin.
Yeah.
I should have just held on and wrote it through.
Had no idea it would be worth that much money.
Well, sure. At that point in time, nobody did.
The most expensive
correct
dime bag that's ever been purchased.
Yes. And I am personally on the record as saying Bitcoin is the new Beanie Baby. Don't touch it.
Look at you.
And I am horribly wrong. I admit it. Scratch that one on the list of investment opportunities that I missed.
Well, I mean, I think there were a lot of people that were right there with you.
I know I wasn't the only one for sure.
No.
But I mean, I look back and I go, in the early 90s, I'm sitting there telling my mom and dad, you should be buying Microsoft stock. And it was like a couple bucks per share.
Mm-hmm.
And then late 90s, it explodes. It technically exploded with 95.
I didn't know how much value NVIDIA had.
Yes, they have really, but again, it's AI.
Yeah.
Because they're the major supplier of AI chips.
That's what I'm saying. And it's like, what?
Yeah. Because if the rug gets pulled out from underneath of AI, then NVIDIA is going to collapse.
Yeah. Their graphics cards aren't going to save them for that one.
Well, no, their last few releases on the graphics cards, they're in trouble. Boy, are they in trouble.
Well, it's because they're putting all their effort into another thing. Like that's, again, there's so many times that I'm like, can we not abandon the things that we're good at when the new shiny thing comes along?
Yep.
I just need one of you morons to make a flip phone that is awesome.
Yeah. There's not a good one out there. I mean,
that's what I'm saying.
You've got the Samsung, which is the two different foldables.
But I don't want the fold. Like I understand what they're spending their money on is making the foldable that does the thing that this one does. Like I get that. I understand why and market share and all of that stuff. I mean, I want a dumb phone that is awesome. I want what I want and nothing else.
The only thing that I would ask for in that flip phone is I still want a QWERTY keyboard.
I mean, sure, that'd be nice, but
even if it was on screen, give me a QWERTY keyboard.
I lost my need for a QWERTY keyboard when it stopped being like functional buttons. When it wasn't the BlackBerry anymore, I'm like, I mean, this is fine. It's faster, and don't get me wrong, like but I hate texting anyway. But I'm misspelling everything because I'm not actually touching a button here.
Well, text to speech didn't spell much better either.
Oh my gosh. The number of times that I will say something and then look down and be like, that is not at all what I said.
Correct.
It's nice to hear that it's not just Siri, because Siri is...
And that's something AI should be able to
terrible.
fix.
Oh, yeah.
And stop me from getting all the junk.
Oh, yeah.
When I'm borrowing on this, but when AI can stop me from getting all the spam,
yeah,
you've achieved something.
Yeah, well done.
Until then, stay at it, boys.
Yeah. Anyway, there's a lot. Always good to hang out, man. Thanks for bringing the beer.
Yes, we've been keeping the streak going.
Thank you, Mr. Moore.
Yes, thank you, Michael. Appreciate it very much. You're welcome to do this anytime the mood hits you.
Anybody is.
Absolutely.
Yeah, Australia, if you want to send us some...
Hey, come on, Aussies. Oi, oi, oi.
Seems like y'all would be in on this beer thing.
Just a little bit.
Anyway. All right.
See you, everybody.
See you.
Holy moly, a great show! Is it always this good?